2.3 rate of change and slope. So this is 100% review with a capital R and W. It's review. We should know this. So by saying that, I'm still going to go over it and act like you don't know it, but I'm going to be cold calling and I'll be like, hey, Natalie, what is this? Blah, blah, blah. Tall, what do you think? Okay, so let's be ready and let's be efficient. So steepness is a description of rate of change or rise over run. Both of these are slope. When we talk about slope-intercept form, M is your slope. It tells you your rise or your run, your change of Y over your change of X. Change of Y over your change of X. All of this stuff means the same thing. Change in f of x, wait, f of x is just y. So it's change in y over change of x. How do you do it? Oh, okay, so I take my second y value minus my first over second x value over first x value. All that means the same thing. In everyday life, it's used to illustrate the pitch of a roof, how steep it is, the difficulty of a ski slope, the driving conditions of a mountain road. So if you guys... How many people have a driver's license? Okay, so like half of you. If you guys have ever driven like past Magic Mountain, like getting into those mountains that are like north, sometimes there's going to be these, especially right outside Bakersfield, right? You know what I'm talking about when you're going on. That's fine. Even if you don't, you will. The next time you see a sign, you'll be like, yes, math. Not really. Not really at all. But there's these signs that say steep grade ahead, like 8%. What that means is for every 100 foot of road, it drops 8 feet. That's pretty steep. And if you're a semi driver with like thousands of pounds of stuff, it's going to take a lot of braking force. That's why you have to be careful. If you're driving and you ever like see smoke coming out of your brakes, or you like smell burning sensation when you're going on the brakes, you need to pull over and let your brakes cool off, because this is how brakes fail and you just like keep going. There you go. Life-saving advice of the day.
How much? That's what they say.
Huh? That means for every 100 feet, it would go down 8 feet. It's 8%.
So if it's 100%.
Straight down?
Yeah, it's straight down.
But we don't make roads like that because it's a wall. Okay, let's.
I've never seen that when snowboarding though. Like I've seen they have like the names for it, but I've never seen like a sign or anything.
It says like steep grade ahead.
It says it once you get off the trail.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Well, where'd you go? David?
Oh. It says the exact like.
No, it just says like slope.
Steep grade.
Be careful. Steep grade.
Yeah. Okay, so my point in telling you this is, guess what? You deal with this on the regular. This is why if you're like going on regular flat ground, like whatever, who really cares? But if you are going up a steep hill, sometimes, yeah, I had a friend whose car died because they had the AC on full blast. And it took too much power. Their car literally died going up a hill because it was a really steep grade. And when you're going down, like a really steep, really going down fast, a high amount of rate of change going down, it can affect the brake.
Yeah, I got a question about.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to like relate it to your real life.
But like, how do you stop on the hill? Won't you have to put on your brakes?
Well, yeah. But like, you don't want to be constantly having your brakes on, because brakes, literally, it's 2 friction pads. You don't want it just to melt.
Oh, okay.
And this is why trucks have a slower speed limit when they're going up and down mountains, and there's always like a truck lane on the very right side for slow, and then they have the runoffs, which is like full of gravel and stuff, and it's supposed to have enough like friction. I mean, like literally the truck will sink in and it will like stop it, it'll absorb it. Yeah. So that's, yeah. So if you're going to be, I don't know, design roads or anything like that, or cars, you have to think about the steepness of whatever. If you're going to design a house, if you're going to build a house, you have to think about the steepness of your roof. Because if you want water to run off, it can't just be full straight, but you don't want it also to be like super high up, because why? That's dumb. That's a lot of wasted space. Especially in like the Midwest, if the slope of your roof is not high enough, the snow will pile up and all that weight will cause it to collapse. I think that's what happened to the practice field for the Vikings in Minnesota. Like the field, the top collapsed. There's too much snow, it was heavy, and it wouldn't slide off the roof. Okay, with that being said, let's go to
How do you know all this stuff?
what? I'm full of random facts.
Vikings fan, sure.
Are you a Vikings fan?
I mean, I grew up in Nebraska. No, I'm a Patriot all the way.
Patriots Nation, let's go.
Yeah?
Yes,
Where are your notes?
I have a note taker combination deck. On God. On
Yeah.
God, you can check.
I know this, but I just want you to have them out so you can like see, you know.
What's the note taker
Yeah.
combination?
Someone takes notes for you and then they give them to you. Because like I can't let someone take notes.
Because I post all my stuff.
that.
Why did I say this?
So
Why did I say this?
I don't know, it's always the same there.
Okay, I'm just trying to have like the same expectation for everyone. All right, here we go. Ready? Ready and focus. And cut. And cut. And cut. Remember, I have tall sitting between you guys. You're both on topic. Come on, Felix. Let's focus. Okay. So what's the steepness? Rise, run, below. Natalie, what's the slope here? How did you find it? So I have a point here. I have a point here.
1 and 4.
Rise over run. I have a point here. I have a point here. Rise over run. So rise of 1, run of 4. Rise over run. Rise of 1, run of 4. So 1/4. So when you go, you're always going left to right. So if you're going up left to right, it's positive. What if you go down left to right? Negative.
Two.
What if it's flat?
0.
0. What if it's straight up?
1.
Undefined. Undefined. Vertical lines undefined. Okay, well, I just told you, you know, what we're doing later, but whatever. Let's keep going.
No,
So,
you gotta go back up first.
why? Okay. So, the table below shows how the area changes with the number of floor tiles. Let's find the rate of change represented in the table. So, Adib, what is the rate of change? What? Sorry, what'd you say?
Wait, the rate of change.
So, notice X,
48.
Y. And if we're talking about the rise over run, we're looking at the change in Y
It's,
over change of X. So I'm asking a D.
So,
Okay,
it
so
would be 48 over 3.
well, only because 0 floor tiles is 0 area. But what I really want to make sure we do is we pick 2 points and find the slope between them. Because maybe, you know, even not this case, but maybe we wouldn't be going through the origin 0, 0. So if I take y2, 96, remember, slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is my y2, here's my y1, here's my x2, here's my x1. So I'm doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So just being, you know, explicit with finding it. Yeah, you were right. But what I'm wanting you not to do is just do y divided by x. Because in this case, if I would graph it, it would go through 0, 0. But what if it didn't? So I want to make sure we're being meticulous every time to account for that. Okay, over 3, so this is 16. This is the change. This is 16 inches squared per tile. That's the rate of change. So for every tile we add on, we're adding on 16 square inches of area. That's how it relates. Oops, my bad, I just did B. Explain the meaning of rate of change. Okay, I know, I messed up, I said it. Adding 16 inches square per tile. Yeah, that's all it means. Okay, so the slope of a line is the ratio of the change in the y coordinates, the rise, to the change in the x coordinates, the run, as you move in the positive direction. So that's the important part, as you move in the positive direction. So what this means is you're going from the left to the right. So that's the motion your eyes are going, left to right, left to right. As you're looking at the graph, left to right, are you going up, or are you going down? That's how you tell if it's positive or negative slope. Okay, so it's just like explicitly telling you what is a slope. Okay, you have 2 points. y2 minus y1 equals x2 minus x1. So this example too, we're going to find the slope of the line through each points. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to double check by plotting those 2 points, finding the line, drawing the line, and then like figuring out what the slope would be graphically. So I have 2 points. I'm going to go ahead and plot them. The first one is 3, 6. So that's right here. The second one is 4, 8. And once I have my 2 points, I can draw a line in between them. Yeah. Okay, so I have a line in between them. Do we know what the slope should be before we find it algebraically? What's the rise over run, Jordan? Do you know?
It's like 1.5 or something. 1.4.
2-1.
Rise to run
Is
1.
this point?
Rise to run 1. Right, so we see the slope is 2. Maybe I didn't draw it exactly great. I don't know if my line's that nice. But if we do, so the important part is labeling your x1, y1, and your x2, y2. So when I plug it into my slope equation, I know exactly what goes in each place. Okay, yeah. You're confused? Okay, so if you think of a question.
Oh, never mind. There's not a second point.
It is, it's 9. It came down to the next line, my bad. I thought I fixed all the formatting, but I did not. So we're right. We see graphically the slope is 2 because we look the rise over the run, the rise of 2, run, x1, that would be a slope of 2. And then we use the slope equation algebraically to find it. So showing you, we started with a graph problem, right? Natalie was like, oh, here's the slope. We did rise over run. So that way, like, you see it, you know what it means, and then showing you the slope equation, and then also having a graph. Well, you know how to find slope from a graph, so you know what the answer should be. And then doing the slope equation, we're double checking our answer. That way you're more confident with the slope equation. And then on the quiz, I'm gonna give you the 2 points, and you're gonna have to only do this part right here. This is just like a question that's on the quiz, which you know because I gave you the practice quiz already. Okay. So yeah, the second point on the right side is a 9 because it just, I don't know why it like came down to the next line. That was my bad. Okay, so I'll have the screencast up for you to watch.
What should I do with my calculator?
You can take the hat off, it's fine. It's not press to test mode. Okay, so here we can go ahead and we can plot -1, 9. And we can plot 4, 3. I have 2 points. It only takes 2 points to make a line. What would the slope here be? Do we know? Do we know what the slope here would be? Let's see. So this is a drop of -6 and a run of 5. So we see rise over run. I heard some good voices. So -6/5. So we know this is what the answer should be, right? Because we're proficient in looking at a graph, finding the rise over run based on the squares. So when we plug in, we know what our answer should be, so we can go ahead and double check. This time, I'm going to label, let's label this x1 and this y1. And this one x2 and this one y2. So the point I'm showing you here is it doesn't matter which set of points are the 1s and 2s as long as you're being consistent. All right, so -1 has to be with 9. 4 for x has to be with the y of 3. So I'll have 3 minus 9 over 4 minus a -1. So 3 minus 9 is -6. 4 minus a -1, that's just adding. So it'd be 5 on the bottom, and this is exactly what we found below. It matches. Yes? It's still negative, it's fine. So 6 over -5, that's because you picked, I'm gonna guess you picked these as your y2 and x2? Yeah, so we get the same answer. So that's what I'm trying to show you is it doesn't matter if you pick the second ones as your y2 and x2 or you pick them as your 1s. As long as you're consistent, you fill in exactly like where they belong. Having the negative on the bottom is fine. Just don't forget about it. So for me personally, I always have the negative on top. That way I don't lose it anywhere. As long as I'm being consistent and I'm like being meticulous as I go through, it'll be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and I want you guys to try C and D. I want you guys to try C and D. 22, maybe. No, wait, 21? What page are you on? 20, on page 20. Not perfect.
What if it's a horizontal one?
Horizontal, 0. Straight up, vertical is undefined.
line.
So, I want you to do exactly what we did the last two examples. Plot the 2 points, draw the line, find the slope. Yes.
What if the slope's not?
Sure. Wait, do you know you used all 3 already, right? Okay. Just making sure.
How many points?
Not a surprise.
Is it like one?
Minus 2 for extra bathroom hall pass. Every day is worth 4 points.
But why do we have to do this if it's just automatically 0?
That means you make half the class.
Just a second. Okay, so I want you guys to plot the 2 points, draw the line in between them, and find the slope. Sketchy. Both are so sketchy. Yeah. Actually, it doesn't matter.
He is.
I'm sketchy. Jacob, she could hear.
Yeah, I can go back. I can go back and just listen to screencast.
Don't worry, it was nothing bad. It was just.
It was terrible.
It was just stupid. It was really
Awesome. So I'm really looking forward to going back.
terrible.
Okay.
Just didn't know.
I have a question about the.
Okay. So I'm gonna quickly go through it because I've given you some time to already try. 6, 7 is right here. Negative 2, 7 is right here. So if I draw a line going through, we see the slope of the line, like literally a flat line. The slope is going to be 0, and we can prove this. We can prove this. So it's going to be 7 minus 7 over negative 2 minus 6, 0 over negative 8, 0 divided by number 0. Versus, yeah, this is all described on the participation grade. If you go to the information,
Because like.
if you go on the description
5%
of,
of the class, and you get 50% of the class.
yeah, because you missed class. You're missing part of class. Yeah,
You miss 50% if you go over your bathroom policy.
Yeah.
for each additional is 2 points.
1 point of a participation.
It's 2.
2 out of 4.
Because I would say doing one problem is not equivalent to doing one like bathroom pass. So, all right. So a line passing through 3, 3, and 3, negative 1. So this is going to be a vertical line. So if I go through and I find the slope, negative 1 minus 3 over 3 minus 3. So it's negative 4 over 0. That's going to be undefined. Undefined. All right, so notice we did 4 different types of slopes. Do you see all the different slopes, which way they're going? So we have one that's going positive, one that's going negative. We have a 0 slope and an undefined slope. So those are the 4 different slopes we're going to talk about. Positive slopes. Remember, we always go from left to right. Positive slopes go up from left to right. Negative go down from left to right. Horizontal line has a slope of 0 because there's no rise. It's all run. And then undefined slope is vertical line. There's no run. It's all rise. So we're going to find the slope of each line graph below. We'll go to Caden. What is the slope of A?
The slope of A would be 2 over 3.
So this is 2, this is 3, so rise over run, so it's 2/3, and we know this is going to be a positive slope. Dylan, what about B?
That would be 0.
0, because it is flat.
Yeah.
Oh, are you filling out notes for someone? Oh, that's nice of you. I mean, I upload the solutions for him. Well, for everyone, actually. Okay. All right. So what about the next one? I'll leave it so you can see. Flat, yeah. Cooper, what about C? What is the slope?
-2/1.
So let's see. So -2/1. So that's just -2, and it's going to be a negative slope. Noah, what about D?
That's undefined.
Undefined because it is a vertical slope.
How do you decide like for C? How do you decide who that would be not like?
So I can pick this point right here.
Yeah, you look when you see that guy, you know, so
You can pick this point. As long as, like, you see where it's literally crossing the crosshatch. That's what we're looking for. All right, so given the slope of a line and 1 point on the line, you can find the other points. So slope and 1 point, interesting. It sounds like point slope form,
That's
which is
not
what
a
we're,
function.
what is not? D, yes, correct, it's not a function. That's good. So given the slope of a line and 1 point on the line, you can find other points as well. Okay, so find the value of r. So the line passes through the pair of points, has the specified slope. So remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Highly recommend go through, label your points. Label your x1, your y1, your x2, your y2. So this is my x1, this is my y1. This is my x2, this is my y2. And then I'm literally going to be plugging in all of these values where they're supposed to be, and then my goal is to get r by itself. So I have -1/3 equals 3 minus r over 6 minus 9.
I got R.
So this is -1/3 equals 3 minus r over, so over -3. So if I multiply by -3 on both sides, why am I multiplying by -3?
to get rid
Get rid of the bottom. So I get rid of -3 here. What is 3? -3 times -1/3.
-1.
So negative times negative
One is
cancels
five.
out. 3 times 1/3. A number times its reciprocal
1.
is 1. Okay, so I have 1 equals 3 minus r. Minus 3 on both sides. -2 equals -r.
Wow. I got
Divide by
the
-1, 2 equals r.
You don't need to do any of that work.
Yeah, you can do it on your head,
Yeah.
but on your quiz, I'm
not
letting
all
you
that
guys
though.
know right now.
I just had a graph and I put it and I did it.
You just have a graph.
Yeah, there's a graph right here.
Oh, like you plotted on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I
So
mean,
much quicker.
fine in the sense that you get the same answer, but the point of this exercise is to use this and to solve for r and get it by itself.
Down here.
So there's many things, so there's many reasons why I'm doing this problem. A, practicing slope equation. Also, practicing order of operations. We need help with order of operations. How do we get r by itself? What's the first thing to do? Like, we're still secretly working on making sure order of operations is correct. Okay. So similarly, this is more or less the same thing. I'll have this be my x2, I'll have this be my y2, x1, y1. So I have 4 minus r over 1 minus -1, and it should equal 2.
How do you go like this?
So 4 minus r over 2 equals 2. Multiply by 2 on both sides so I can get rid of the bottom here. because I'm dividing by 2 on the left side, so I multiply to get rid of it. So 4 minus r equals 4.
I knew it.
So I have to subtract 4 on both sides. Negative r equals 0. So if I multiply both sides by negative 1, I still get r equals 0.
Yeah. My way's easier.
Cool. Okay, so the plan for the last 23 minutes, I'll give you time to work on homework since we finished this early.